Begin with some breaking news in the NBA. Chris Paul calling it a career. 40-year-old announced today that he is retiring. Paul began his 21st NBA season in LA after reuniting with the Clippers, but he parted with the team in December when he was traded to Toronto at the deadline. A future Hall of Famer for certain, CP3 most notably, playing for the Clippers, Rockets, Suns, and Hornets. The point guard, one heck of a career. 12-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA player, second all-time in assists, trailing only John Stockton. He was the 2005-2006 NBA Rookie of the Year and was a member of the 75th anniversary team. All right, with that breaking news to start the show, we bring in senior NBA reporter Brian Windhorst. And Wendy, just curious your reaction to hearing that CP3 is hanging it up after 21 seasons.
Yeah, unfortunately, this didn't go the way he thought this year, but I don't think that this will define any part of his career, nor do I think it will be the end of his NBA career. He's going to be done as a player, but I expect him to have a significant mark on the game going forward. He can go into coaching. He can go into management. He can certainly go into broadcasting. He's already done some of that here with us at ESPN. He could even be someday one of the leaders in the league office. He has cultivated incredible relationships across the basketball landscape. And Chris Paul's future in the NBA is kind of just beginning.
All right, so you're talking about CP3's future on the day he hangs it up, but let's look at his past. How would you characterize the legacy of those 21 years as a player?
Top 10 all-time point guard. Some people would go top 5, top 6. I wouldn't dispute that. One of the things about Chris Paul is he'll always be known for his passing, you know, being the catalyst of Lob City, and rightly so. He is the second all-time leader in assists in NBA history, so he's one of the great passers in NBA history. But what I think he's underrated for was his defense. It's incredibly hard to be an impactful player at his size. He made 9 all-defensive teams. That's like up there with Gary Payton and Jason Kidd amongst the greatest defensive guards of all time. And second all-time in steals, which, you know, he obviously made his mark on many games that way.
All right, Wendy, let's move from one 40-something to another. That, of course, means we got to talk LeBron James. And give me a break, LeBron. As we head into the All-Star break, the King is coming off a triple-double in Thursday night's win over the Mavs. 28 points, 10 boards, 12 assists. Also, 41 years and 44 days, making LeBron the oldest player in NBA history to record a triple-double. So more history for LeBron in last night's triple-double. Not just the oldest player, but now the first player to have 50 triple-doubles as a member of 2 different franchises. Last night was his 50th, wearing the Lakers purple and gold. He also had 64 wearing a Cleveland Cavalier jersey. So that historic triple-double, a nice little bow on the first half of this regular season for the LA Lakers. What's your assessment of their performance as a team?
Shout out to the high school class of 2003 that had Chris Paul and LeBron James in it. How about those guys still dominating SportsCenter all these years later? The Lakers, Tyler, have had, I think, a terrific first half of the season. I know that maybe they wish they were a little higher than 5 in the standings, but when you look at the limitations on this roster, their challenges defensively, and the fact that Luka Doncic has missed 12 games, Austin Reeves has missed, you know, the bulk of the season, LeBron has missed nearly 20 games, and yet here they are, 11 games over 500. They've been tremendous in the clutch. They have an opportunity to get into a decent seed in the playoffs if they keep playing well. This was never a championship level team. That doesn't mean they can't get a good matchup in good health and make a run. This was always going to be a team that had to maximize what it had. They are maximizing what it's had, and LeBron has been the personification of that, including a great game to lead them to victory last night.
All right, so Wendy, impressed with what the Lakers have done this first half of the season, and let's show our viewers where they currently sit in the Western Conference standings. Right next to Minnesota in the 5-6 spot. The OKC Thunder still hanging on to the 1 seed, but the Spurs, those pesky little Spurs who have given them trouble all year long, are right on their heels, just 3 games back. So, Wendy, let's go through your evaluation of the Western Conference as a whole. What team is your biggest winner in the first half?
You just said it, the San Antonio Spurs. They obviously had a good feeling about Victor Wembanyama's improvement this year. But to be where they're at in the standings, not only in second place in a great position to get a good playoff seed, but because of Oklahoma City's injury troubles and their strong play when Victor has been out, here the Spurs are within shouting distance of getting the #1 seed, which would be huge for a young team.
All right, give me the West's biggest loser.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Clippers. I had such high hopes for them this year, and they got off to a horrendous start, 6-19 or something like it was. Then when they turned it around, they ended up trading James Harden and Zubac to begin a mini reset, and Kawhi Leonard is playing some of his best basketball, and I can't believe they've given up on the season.
Team you are most interested to watch after the break?
Got to be that guy, Victor Wembanyama and his Spurs. Can they catch Oklahoma City? The Thunder are dealing with significant injuries still. I'm not sure when they're going to see their two best players back. Victor is on a mission. We saw it just in this last couple of games before the break, coming out to the West Coast and crushing the Lakers and the Warriors. I think Victor is going to be hunting for that #1 seed, and I think that's something that we're going to be really talking about come April.
Spurs could be ahead of schedule with Victor Wembanyama this year in the Western Conference, which is scary for the rest of the league. All right, you handled the West there. Let's look at the East now. Wendy, the Detroit Pistons, the #1 overall seed in the East with a record of 40-13. Right below them, the Celtics, still without Jason Tatum, so that's impressive. Knicks, Cavs, all fighting for the 2 seed as well with Boston. Raptors and Sixers rounding out the top 6. So, Wendy, same drill, Eastern Conference edition. Your biggest winner of the first half is?
The Detroit Pistons have the #1 overall seed in the NBA right now, heading into the All-Star break. I mean, the Celtics being behind them is impressive for Boston, but they're 6 games clear in the loss column because Detroit has developed a terrific formula. They defend like demons. They're rough and tough in the middle, and then when the games get close, they hand it over to #2, and he carries them home, which he has done repeatedly. That, frankly, is how you win playoff games, and they're going to be in great position.
Biggest loser in the East?
Yeah, we had to go down the standings a little bit to find Orlando. Right now, they're in the play-in zone, which I promise you was not what they thought when they traded 4 first-round picks to get Desmond Bane. They really were trying to jumpstart their offense. They've been a little bit better, but it hasn't been there. And yes, they've had injuries to Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, but every team basically in the East has had injuries, and they have really been underwhelming. They need a big second half to get out of that play-in line.
And the team you're watching in the second half?
We are going to talk about the Charlotte Hornets. This is one of the most exciting teams in the league right now. They got off to a miserable 4-14 start. Since then, they've basically been one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Con Knipple is going to be one of the rookie headliners this weekend in the Rising Stars game and in the three-point contest. Brandon Miller is turning into one of the league's elite two-way wings. Their draft class is paying off big time, and LaMelo has been able to stay healthy. This is one of the emerging stories in the NBA.
They've been a great squad to wager on as well as of late because of how well they're playing above expectation. Yeah, that's what I do, Wendy. But you hang tight because we're going to come back a little later and talk about the All-Star game and some comments KD